It's one of the most searched things on YouTube for singers. How do I sing on pitch? And I know that for those who are pros and already auditioning or performing, like that seems like such a rudimentary thing, but it is such a thorn in the side of so many people who love to sing but just don't feel like they can. And in my opinion, it is the very first of 4 markers that define what makes a good singer. It's pitch.
It's not limited to people who can't sing well. It's also people who do sing well, who go slightly pitchy. If they use some of the things that we use here, people been telling me my whole life that I sing good, but I was a pitchy fool until I learned proper technique. So it's not just people who sound bad. It's people who are professionals too.
It's true. Everybody, including me, we all struggle with pitchiness in one part of a song or in one part of our lives or one part of our range or another, okay? So this isn't just for someone who quote unquote can't sing or is learning to sing. This is for those of us, all of us actually, who are working pros who may just kind of be a little lazy with our connecting notes or just not quite get up to a note the way we should or not quite get down to a note the way we should. We're gonna help you fix that today. So we're gonna actually introduce to you 2 apps that we like to use. And by the way, we're not partnering with these guys. We don't know them, they don't know us, but we just use them in our lessons because we find that it's free, it's easy, and it helps us and our students, okay? So the first one is called the Tone Deaf Test. And it looks a little something like this. When you get on your phone, you are going to download, it's purple, it's got a little white music note in it, and you're gonna take this tone deaf test. It's gonna run you through a series of questions, and at the end, it's gonna give you a tone deaf score. And it's gonna show you that most likely you're not tone deaf because guys, 3 to 5% of the entire world's population is tone deaf. We've coached thousands of people, both live in-person lessons and all over the world. And I've never, and neither has Nikki ever, met a single person who is actually clinically tone deaf. So I would be shocked if you're the first.
I have, however, met many people who swear that they are tone deaf.
Yes.
And they want to convince me that they cannot sing on key. But then after I get my hands on them, they're like, oh!
And they like to convince us of this in voice lessons, by the way. Like, we're not doctors. They come to us to sing, but they spend a lot of the lesson, especially the first one, trying to convince us of how they shouldn't be here. Even though they're here, which is ironic.
It just proves to the point of singing being 90% mental. The more you think that you suck and you can't do it and you can't hit a note to save your life, the more that's what you're going to sound like. And then you'll find yourself in a voice lesson convincing the teacher that you suck and that she shouldn't waste her time on you. I'm not calling nobody out.
But we are. Because as a man thinks, so he is. Just saying.
Whoop. Okay, so the second app is called the Pitch Tuner and Metronome. It is black and it has green, yellow, and orangish design on it.
So we're gonna give you an example of what it looks like to actually use this pitch tuner. And listen, it's made for perfection, okay? So you're gonna see Coach Nikki's sound, it still bobbles a little bit. And I'm gonna show you mine. It still bobbles a little bit, whatever note you choose. So again, this is just a way for you to have a visual representation of what you are sonically hearing and calibrate accordingly based on what you're seeing, whether you're lower or higher to the center of that pitch.
To speak to that, do not open this app and think that you're going to sing a bunch of notes and you're going to sing them on and it's just going to be green, 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 green. Don't do that because then you're going to be depressed and that's going to be a whole nother thing. That's that mental thing that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So go in there with the idea of, okay, I'm just going to play around. Go in with 1 note, maybe 2, and see what you need to do to your voice, what it feels like in order to get it right in that green spot.
Yeah, this is a tool. This is not like you get a badge if you're perfect because it's not going to be perfect. It's just a visual representation of a sonic example, okay?
Yeah. So
pick a note, any note. That's a G4.
Are you recording? Because I was in the green the whole time. Did we get that?
We sure did, Nikki.
No, I mean screen.
It's screen recording.
Are you sure?
See it? It's right
there. Okay.
You see, don't get so excited. You see, she's letting this become her identity now. She's not doing what she told you to do. So do as she said, not as she just did. Okay?
Wait,
Give me that phone.
Hold on a minute, because I never said you couldn't get excited when you do stay in the green. We gotta celebrate the wins in life. Okay? Life is too hard for that.
Okay.
So now you go.
Oh, well, give me the phone. All right. She also did it in her head voice, which is a lot easier for her to stay on pitch. I will say, I know her voice very well. I'm just saying, like, the poor people, you're like all in the green.
You want to give me a test note?
I'm going to show them what real pitch problems are. I'm going to choose A5. Okay, so if you notice, I was a little sharp at the beginning, but I saw it, and I slowly just calibrated down a little bit. And then you'll see it, notice when I did vibrato, it kind of bobbled, and then it went down when I finished the note. Okay?
Wait a minute. For our listeners here, when you say you slowly calibrated down, how can you put that in a term that people will understand?
Fair.
Like what to do physically in order to make it come down.
Fair. What I did was anything that's too high, you're over trying, okay? So I actually relaxed my ab engagement like this much, okay? And I thought in my mind, because again, singing is 90% mental, 10% talent, I thought in my mind, just a little lower. Just sit into the note a little bit more. So there's a mental thing going on, but there's also a physical, anatomical relaxation that's happening by literally like maybe less than 4%, okay? And part of knowing how to calibrate is knowing your voice really well, which means exercising, knowing your range, knowing what it takes to get to certain notes. And I know my voice very well, so it's easier for me to calibrate. But let's say you over-calibrated and you were, and then you needed to be at, well, then, maybe you overcorrect. That's fine. Just bring it back up again, okay? The more you experiment, the better you're going to get at calibration. And practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes awesome. Okay?
The more also that you do like the basic, boring, non-sparkly warm-up exercises, that's going to help you to get really, really in tune with where you're sitting, what it feels like when you're in a certain register, when you're on a certain note, all those different things, you'll know what it feels like more. So then moving won't be this drastic thing where you're like, oh, I need to go lower, and then you're in the basement. It'll be something that you're more in tune with because you've practiced just going. When I say the basic exercises, I mean like the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Oh, wow. She's taking it old school.
Yeah, just the bare basic, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is this note, this is that note, this is a half step, this is a whole step. Getting used to that. It's not the most sparkly, most fun thing to do, but it really helps you to know where to move because when you're doing what Tara is saying, you can adjust and have a little bit of confidence knowing that, okay, I just need to do this or I just need to do that, just like what she just did.
Yep. Absolutely. Now, I know I said that pitch is the first of 4 markers of what it takes to actually be a singer. And I believe that pitch is very important as it is the first, but you do need these other elements. So make sure that after you watch this video, you click on this one next to hear what the other 3 are so that you know exactly what you need to do to become a good singer.